just went live, so I can black it out if you want, or we can roll.
I would wait till 6:30, it's just the advertised time.
Okay, hold that thought. All right, we'll call to order the meeting of the zoning board for May 21st, 2026. Heidi, can you do a roll call, please?
Christine Brochu.
Here.
Ellen Cordell.
Here.
Keith Kyle.
Here.
Leslie McKnight. Here. John Ball.
Here.
Karen Coutinho.
Here.
David Trenisow.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a full board, you have a quorum.
All right. We have approval of the minutes from April 14th, 2026. For a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes as submitted for the Thursday, April 23rd, 2026 meeting. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed 5-0. We have a bunch of matters on tonight, but we also have a couple of continuances so we can get the lawyers and other people out of here. So is someone here on Terrick, which is plat R2, lot 318, 26 Starfish Drive?
If it please the board, Mr. Chairman, staff, even you, Mr. Callahan. We're here tonight to ask for a continuance on 26 Starfish Drive. There was some information that was submitted at the request of the building official, and I don't think he's had a chance to review it all. There's also some questions that I think that the solicitor and the building official, the zoning official, are going to discuss with regard to timing on this particular, because we have bouncing back and forth of ordinance changes, case changes, and Supreme Court decisions as to what I fall under, at least from the staff and council's position, and then of course the board will decide, hopefully exactly the way I want them to.
What dates do we have available?
Before we do discuss that, can we just have Mr. Indalia introduce himself for the record?
Oh, I thought he did. But
I don't know.
If it, my name is Vincent Indalia, Indalia and Associates. I represent the owner of this property, Dr. Richard M. Terrick, at 26 Starfish Drive, Narragansett, Rhode Island.
What dates do we have available?
We can move to this. So this is their second continuance. So it's up to the board's discretion whether or not to move 1 month or 2 months. If you're looking at 1 month, it would be June 17th, 2026, which is a Wednesday, and I would have to ask Ms. Patron if she has the July meeting date. I don't have that off the top of my head.
I am looking for that now.
I would respectfully beg for that day.
17th?
July 23rd.
Well, I mean, what's the calendar look on June 17th?
June, I think we have 2 applications at the moment, so it's
okay to...
it's at this moment it seems to be okay.
Is there a motion to continue?
Make a motion to continue it to June, a date certain of June 17th, 2026. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
I'll see you then. Thank you all.
17th.
Including you.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, for the record, that is a Wednesday, if somebody said Tuesday.
No.
Or Thursday.
17th is Wednesday?
It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday
Yep,
then.
it's a Wednesday.
Yeah.
All right.
Just so you know.
Normally it's Thursday, but it's Wednesday for,
Or sorry, yeah, not Thursday, it's Wednesday.
We'll be here.
okay. All right, the next matter is appeals, McKelly, Plat L1, lots 4 and 250, 16 Pocono Road.
Sure. We do have another continuance if you wanted to address that.
sorry,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a last minute matter, C2 Saba.
Okay, that's on for a continuance?
Yes, yes, Mr. Chair. I almost called you judge, but I'm a proud player. I spoke with counsel this afternoon. He's working with a building official. They're ironing out some issues. He's respectfully requested a 1-month continuance to that June date, June 17th? June 17th, please.
Is there a motion to continue that matter to June 17th?
Make a motion to continue it to Wednesday, June 17th, 2026.
Is there a second? All in favor? Aye.
And I'll let counsel know. Thank you.
Okay. So back to the appeal, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but Michelli, Plat L1, lots 4 and 250, 16 Pocono Road.
What's that?
Are you guys prepared, is the town prepared to go forward on that? Because I know Ryan had mentioned that the new building official may not have had counsel to prepare for this, so I just want to give you the opportunity to speak to that, if that's something you need more time, or
We're ready.
you're ready. Okay. All right.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the board. My name is Andrew Cormier. I'm here on behalf of the owners, Deborah and Louis Michelli. This is an appeal.
Are you an attorney?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
This is an appeal of the zoning officer's decision. It stems from a zoning certificate and then his decision or lack thereof to follow through on an unmerger. It involves a new state statute, or relatively new state statute, 452438C. And basically what that statute allows is for the unmerger of lots, provided that they meet certain criteria. Those criteria being that the lots of record fall or are 50% greater than, oh good, thank you. So, I was gonna ask if somebody could put it up. So the lots at issue here are record lot 250 and lot 1-4. And so what the state statute allows you to do is unmerge those lots, provided that they meet certain criteria. Those criteria being that they're record lots and they are larger in area than record lots within 200 feet of each parcel. So in January, we submitted a request for a zoning certificate along with a memorandum showing that the lots do meet those criteria as confirmed by a compilation plan prepared by a registered surveyor. At that time, Mr. Pimentel, and I don't know if he's here, at that time, Mr. Pimentel advised me that the town had a separate application for unmergers. And you know, because this is a relatively new statute, like our office is happy to work with municipal officials, especially because, you know, the law has changed. It's gone through a few iterations over the last couple of years. So pursuant to his advice, we completed that application. We sent in our materials, and he deemed the lots merged by use, which I respectfully disagree is not a thing under Rhode Island law, and essentially here we are today. Our request to this board is that you deem or reverse the zoning official's determination and issue an order or a zoning certificate rendering these lots unmerged. So I'm happy to entertain some questions.
Counsel, in your memo that you submitted, well, I guess to me as the chairman, you referenced that statute that you just spoke of, and the way I'm reading this, just what you wrote, I'm not looking at the statute.
Sure.
I'm an attorney too, so of course, everything can be rendered ambiguous at some point, but it says that when a substandard lot of record has an area equal to or greater than 50% of the lots within the 200-foot radius. So do we have information with respect to, the way if I'm reading that literally, so you have the lots within the 250-foot radius, and
Sure.
your lot of record has to be equal to or greater than 50% of those lots. So is there any evidence of that?
Sure, and actually in your appeal packet, Mr. Chairman, I did provide the underlying plat maps. One was 1965, and the other one is 1960, I believe.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I just broke something, I apologize.
I think it's Exhibit B.
Yeah, it looks like it's B.
Is it B?
And the circles, yeah.
Well, that, Exhibit B is the compilation plan. That does provide the acreage, but the underlying plat maps were also submitted as an exhibit. They were submitted as part of our unmerged application.
So I guess in addition to that question, the other question I have is that right now there are two separately taxed lots, is that correct?
No,
So it's
they're
one
treated
lot?
as one.
So we look at the area that's on this for the entire lot, and that area has to, why don't you explain more what your position is?
Sure. So you look at each of the lots individually. So lot 250 has an area of give or take 7,000 square feet. And then lot 250 is 45? Thank you. 4,400 square feet. 500 square feet. And both of those are reflected in the underlying plat maps.
Do we have a plat map from today, or is that not considered in the law? Have the lots changed at all? Because this seems like an older lot. Is this,
No,
I'm
these
looking at
have been
Exhibit B.
Sure, so that's the Exhibit B is the compilation plan, which is the requirement under the new state statute. It used to be that when the law initially changed, or this exception was created in 2024, it used to be that the zoning officer would have kind of discretion on what the requirements were. Last summer, the law changed. Now it's a compilation plan, which is a class 4 survey under, surveyor regulations. So under those regulations, they have to show what the record lots are, within the 200-foot radius, and then do the calculations, which you see towards the bottom left corner of that compilation plan.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Reading through the documentation, it came up about if the owners had merged it versus the town had merged it. And I think there was a mention here about a title search. Do we know whether the town merged the lots or whether the owners merged the lot?
So I do have a response to that. The only way that you can merge record lots by law is through a subdivision. Now, a subdivision, by definition in the state law, is any changing of the lot lines. So in order, you can't just file a deed and say, these lots are merged. It's a fallacy under the law. It can't happen. And that has been the case for at least since 1992, when the subdivision regulations subdivision statutes and the zoning statutes have been enacted. So in order to merge lots under the law, you have to file a plat map and go through the ordinary subdivision statutes.
Right, so Mr. Pimentel had asked if there was a title search proving the town had merged it. I'm not clear whether the town did or...
Could I ask a question?
No, not yet. I have a question.
Sure.
I mean, I guess they'll have evidence, or they'll present their case too, so maybe we can ask them at that time. You mentioned merger by use. Same owners, obviously, held in the same name lot. I think I read something in here that said that they put structures on the lots that transcended the lot? Did I read that somewhere? I thought I read that in here.
I think Mr. Pimentel's concern was that he wanted a class 1 to see whether or not any of the structures on the lots straddled lot lines.
But nothing does.
No.
So-
And that was my position, that it seems very unnecessary.
Right, I'm gonna go look and see what I read.
I have a follow-up question on David's question. Do you know if any of the lots on your Exhibit B within the 2 radius circles have actually undergone minor subdivisions to create merged lots?
I personally searched the records and looked at all the underlying plat maps. That's how I came up with the 2 that I submitted, and I was unable to find any.
Okay, but you can't give evidence. So isn't that an unknown here? We don't know if, or let me phrase it this way. You're relying on this map, but you can't give evidence that any were or were not. And we don't know and don't have any evidence whether any of these were merged through the subdivision process, because it seems to me that's an important piece of evidence here, because in order to make the calculation, we need to know whether we're dealing with 10 lots or whether we're dealing with 8 lots, because that's going to affect your math when you're dealing with a very small number of lots within a 200-foot radius. Do you agree?
No, I respectfully disagree. The state statute is explicit on what's required. It's a compilation plan as governed by the rules and regulations of a professional surveyor. The surveyor, by virtue of putting his stamp on that plat map or that compilation plan, has verified that the record lots are what they are. And additionally, it's also hard to prove a negative in that, like, I can't find something that never happened or provide proof of something that never happened.
What year was the compilation map that he relied upon created? Do you know?
I don't know.
All right, so we could be dealing with something that's 20 years old or 25 years old or
Well,
40 years old?
The underlying plat maps are 40, 50, 60 years old. But those are the lots of record, and they're consistent with what the town has on its own tax maps. Yes.
Maybe this is a follow-up to this. In one of Wayne's emails back to you, he said, you also list separate lots for which structures were clearly built over 2 of the lots, and he doesn't think those lots should be counted in the 50%.
Yes,
So
that's,
how many of, if you didn't count those lots in the 50%, would you still meet the,
we would actually for the
for the,
upper lot.
okay.
But
not
if
for the
you're
small.
calculating also this lot, I don't think we
You don't think so, okay.
I think that was the point I was trying to get to.
Oh, I apologize then for.
Okay. You said it better, thank you.
Well, I have
You have the
evidence.
memo, okay.
Right here.
So just to summarize what your surveyor, which is the only evidence so far that we have before us, has concluded is that Lot 1-4 exceeds the area of 55% of nearby record lots, right? And Lot 250 exceeds the area of 66% of nearby record lots. So that's your argument, that it would catapult you over the 55% in the statute, and there would be, you would be entitled to an unmerger, so to speak. correct?
Yes, that's fair.
Are there any other questions?
Thank you, Mr.
No
Chair.
other questions, maybe we'll have you come back up. We don't know. See
Can I
what's-
just ask one question? Do we know how these were merged? Was it in the merger from like the
It's-
DPs, or was it?
The town by virtue of passing a merger ordinance,
Mhm.
just administratively merges the lots, but that's for zoning purposes. That has nothing to do with record lots.
So they were notified back in the 80s? Yes. Okay. Okay, great. Thank you, that answers my question.
Town wish to be heard on this before we have other, if there is anybody else in the audience that wants to speak to
I mean,
it?
I can somewhat. Jay Humes, building official and zoning official of the town of Narragansett. I'd like to preempt this by saying, obviously, this was not my decision. I'm coming into it. And What's that? Oh, the podium? Yeah.
Yeah, you need one, Jay?
Can you just raise your right hand for
I
me?
can.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and just spell your last.
Jay Humes, Humes.
Thank you.
So, my take on this is a 180 from what Mr. Pimentel had come up with. So I don't know how much help I'm going to be on this. What I can say is that basically it looks like on his zoning certificate, he doesn't state anything about merger by use. I believe in some of the emails somewhere that the only time that he's speaking of merger by use is when he's referring to the radius maps. And I believe he was referring to lot 262 and lot 363 maybe, and also lot 265, where there are houses that straddle both of those lots. Also in the state law, it doesn't say record lot, it says lot. That's going to be changed, but as of right now, it does not say record lot. Lastly, if we want my take on it, I know that the town has been doing on mergers. My reading of both the town ordinance and the state law is that nowhere in either of those does it say unmerger. So basically, it looks like the section that was referred to, which is section C, the merger of lots shall not be required when the substandard lot of record has an area equal to or greater than 50% of the lots within 200 feet of the subject lot, as confirmed by the zoning enforcement officer. This was adopted both state law and our ordinance in 2024, January 1st of 2024. Additionally, I would say anything that was combined for whatever reason prior to that wouldn't fall into unmerging. There's literally nothing about pulling them apart. It was just that basically the lots were able to be put together, and if they met this after 2024 is my position, that essentially that they wouldn't have to be put together. But again, there's nothing that says pulling them apart. And I would say that that would have to be a subdivision, as we were talking about earlier, as to joining them, no differently than pulling them apart. So that's kind of my take on it. Yes.
Can you just describe what is, I guess, practice? I mean, does the town just go through its lots periodically and say, oh, these two are owned, they're different lots, they're owned by the same people, we're going to merge them?
To be honest, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how that practice has been. I don't know. It would take a lot for someone to literally go through all that. It's not in my job description. I would say if it was done, possibly, and I don't know for sure, that it would be done through the tax assessor's office. But again, they have to prove that they're touching lots, so I don't know
Yeah.
how that works.
So do you, like, maybe the tax assessor says, hey, these two lots are owned by the same people, can you merge these for me? Or, like,
They
what
would-
is the purpose? You know, why would you want to?
So the purpose, at least of the law of the mergers, is because these are non-conforming lots, they're below whatever the regulation is, that if there's two of them and if they're in the same ownership and if they're touching, that by combining the two, it makes them more conforming to whatever the regulations are. I believe this section is an R10, so it's a 10,000 square foot minimum.
No, I get that.
So
But if-
you're, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm.
So, well,
Go
maybe
ahead.
maybe to restate it this way, maybe this will explain it, is this statute that's being cited, basically is the way I'm reading it, is that lots are not required to be merged where they ordinarily would be,
Correct.
if you can demonstrate that the substandard lot of record is 50% or greater than the lots within the radius, right?
Correct.
So what your argument is that there's really no such thing as unmerger. These are lots that were just merged because they became they were common owners, right?
Correct.
I'm going to follow up on that for something you said at the end. Are you saying if they want to do what they're seeking to do here, the procedure is a subdivision?
That would be my take on
So
it.
you're saying they're using the wrong process through this appeal to get to what their goal is at the end of the day. So what they have to do is go back and refile, file for a minor subdivision, comply with the requirements for that, and have it heard in the course of whatever that procedure may be.
Yes.
Okay.
But
So I
how,
have a question. So in Wayne's comments that he put in his zoning certificate, he actually instructed them to do it this way. So even though he instructed them to do it this way, your interpretation is different on the unmerging.
Correct, my interpretation on the requirements for the merger, I believe the town shouldn't be doing them, but that's my take on it. So that's why it's kind of hard, because I didn't put forth the denial or anything like that. So basically I would have to defend something that I had no.
yeah, but good point, because you did say the town's been unmerging lots.
Correct. Correct, so.
Have they
So-
been unmerging lots under the new Rhode Island general law change, or how have they been
Correct.
approaching that? Okay.
Have they used subdivisions to do it, or just,
No,
No, they've been using the unmerger provision.
okay.
wait, the unmerger provision of.
Well, they call it an unmerger provision, but yes,
452438C, they've been using that
correct,
since the law was passed.
correct.
Prior to that, how was it done?
Prior to that, then
Big prior to that, it
Wait a
had to be a
minute.
subdivision.
It had to be a subdivision. So the town has been interpreting it potentially the wrong way? Is that what?
Can I add that basically there are 3 towns out of all the towns and cities in Rhode Island that actually believe in the unmerger, the way that it's written, Narragansett, Cranston, and Warwick. So, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying that I have a different take on what has been happening and the way that the law in our ordinance is written.
I mean, it sounds to me like and I know there's some more people, it sounds like, that want to speak here tonight on this, but it seems like this is a question of law, Nick, that we're going to need some guidance to you. I can envision an interpretation of this statute where prior to lots being merged, if you can comply with this, they won't be merged. But once they've been merged by common ownership, because you've decided to retitle the property into one person's name, which is probably what happened here, they're merged lots.
And I think it goes to what your building official told you a minute ago, or maybe told me in our merging conversations, and I use the word merge not on purpose, that nowhere in the statute does it say unmerge. It doesn't provide, his interpretation, it doesn't provide a mechanism for him to unmerge a lot. It is a different interpretation as to how lots that otherwise would merge under the law, if they met certain characteristics, would merge, which would apply prospectively after the law is passed, not retroactively. And as you see, there's no retroactive language in the statute to lots that have already been merged. And I think that hinges on what the chair pointed out earlier.
That is my position.
I mean, is part of this, appeal here, because what they're saying, I think what the appellants are saying, is that the lots were merged in violation of the law, because.
No, because this iteration, so C has been in existence for quite some time. The last sentence in C, the 50% calculation, was added a couple of years ago, so that's new. So I don't think there's a suggestion that these were merged in violation of law. I think, not to put words in council's mouth, I think that their interpretation is that the last sentence in C allows for unmerger.
Okay.
Conversely, your building official disagrees with that, saying that nowhere in the last sentence does it say unmerger.
Because the language is missing.
Correct.
But it seems like Mr. Pimentel was using lots that were used, had structures on both. That's what. And he shouldn't. Like they're saying that those should be excluded. He's saying those should be excluded from the calculation, and they're saying it should be included in the calculation. I think that's a factual thing. I think that is interesting.
And it's
that
without the
we put that way.
benefit of Mr. Pimentel here as to what he
Right.
was thinking at that time. We're a little behind the eight ball, so I think we have to do the best with the evidence that we have in the packet on the record and make a decision, because we don't have him available to us.
Can I also just ask a question about subdivision? Like if there was an application for a minor subdivision, knowing what you all know, is it likely it would be approved or unlikely it would be approved? Because you're subdividing a lot into two substandard lots again, which just doesn't happen, or not allowed, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Rock in a hot place.
Exactly, right. So you're saying they have a remedy in subdivision, but they really don't. Yeah.
Correct.
So.
And the twist looks like the town was the one that did it.
Right. Is there
Does it
any,
mean
when
it's
you
not-
merge a lot, procedurally, anywhere else that you've worked, or anybody knows, when you merge a lot, do you notify the owners before they merge them to give them a chance to title it in a different? I'm serious, I mean.
No, yeah, in the prior jurisdictions that I've worked in, we never really ran into the merging of lots, or at least our department didn't deal with it. If it was probably done behind the scenes. Again, I would assume with the tax assessor, and I don't know what notification, if any,
Right.
they gave.
And by the way, having a merger provision in one's ordinance or a town's ordinance is not uncommon. It's
Right.
incredibly common.
And and they do it, you do it all the time, you
Right.
merge lots without, just because you can.
And the logic behind it's exactly as the building official described, that substandard lots are
Substandard to make
unfit.
standard, right.
I think what was occurring in the addition of this language in the statute was that where there are two substandard lots that become under common ownership, they do not necessarily get merged if you can demonstrate the area is equal to or greater than 50% of all the lots in that radius.
And I think the question is, when does that apply? Does that
Well,
apply to
right,
lots
so
that?
we have those issues, so I don't,
So prior to that language in the statute, it was at the discretion of the building official. Like he didn't have to worry about that at the time he merged them, or when did the merger? Was this law in effect when the merger of the lots happened?
2009, it says 2009.
Yeah,
That-
okay.
And when they bought it, the merger law was in effect?
Yeah, so-
So the title was 2000 and,
Yeah, so Narragansett has a merger provision in our ordinance. It's under section 8.1,
how long has that been effective?
at least 2002.
2002?
So before this property owner owned their
Took
property.
title?
Yes.
Okay, so when they took title, it was already in our regulations that this
Yes.
was going to be one merged lot?
Yes.
Even though the description in the deed itself refers to lot 1, lot 2.
Yes, and for purposes of completeness of your records, if I could give to your clerk a copy of the 2002 ordinance in effect at the time. It's substantially similar than that what's in effect today with slight differences.
Did the owners who want to unmerge now take title of both lots at the same time?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay,
One deed.
okay.
and that was after the merger.
2010, and it was recorded in 2015.
So they bought it knowing it was one lot.
The law was in effect at
Yeah.
that time.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the building official? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll let come up, and then I know there's some more people that may want to speak to this.
A couple things, and I don't want to necessarily put, the zoning official mentioned that Warwick, and I don't want to correct him, maybe I'm just mishearing, that like Warwick does not interpret, we've done these in Warwick as recently as 2 months ago.
I think that's what you said.
I said that Warwick, Narragansett, and Cranston are the only ones who are doing it this way, on merging lots.
And I think that the unmerging, like, it's just an easy way to put what's going on here. It's not an actual legal term. What 38 does is it gives towns and cities the ability to create these merger provisions. I'm unfamiliar with a city or town in Rhode Island that doesn't have one, right? And so, again, the intent of that was to create more dimensionally conforming lots. But in 2024, the law changed, and the legislature is presumed to know what what they're doing. And so wouldn't it render mergers like completely moot? Like the exception, wouldn't it be completely moot if everything, once it was merged under one of these merger ordinances, like you couldn't unmerge them? So the legislature, again, is presumed to know what it's doing. So by passing this language, which was initially as confirmed by the zoning officer, and then it changed last summer to as confirmed by a compilation plan, as those terms are regulated by the standards of professional survey.
So isn't the statute saying going forward prospectively, if you happen to be the owner, or end up being the owner of two substandard lots of record, you can avoid them being merged if you can demonstrate the percentages that are set forth in the statute.
I don't think it's prospective at all. Otherwise, it would be speculative. I just disagree with that, Mr. Chair. That it would render the exception moot. I mean, where are you going to find? I mean, it's going to be very rare that you're going to find substandard lots that haven't already been merged. It's just very rare.
Well, it might be rare, but I mean, I think that when someone is conveying real estate, they better have a good real estate lawyer who knows that when you convey a lot, you could be causing a merger of the lots. I mean, I've seen it happen many times, so call your malpractice insurance carrier to deal with that.
But it was already merged before the sale, and it really wasn't even, you know,
Yeah.
it's, but how do you,
But it wasn't.
how do you, that's crazy, because if you're going by what council is saying, when they made a lot of these lots, they were so tiny. So you're gonna dial it back? That goes against conservation, it goes against good development practices.
But it's not.
You know what I mean? Like you could, in all of these old lots, there used to be so many tiny ones that were merged to make a 5,000 square foot lot. Like you really gotta open up Pandora's box and say, oh no, this is, the law is meant to say it's supposed to go back in time and forward in time, but it doesn't say it goes back in time.
I disagree.
It does say?
No, I just disagree with that.
Okay.
Sorry. I would argue that the statute is pretty explicit and clear, and it also uses the word shall. It's not permissive. Shall not be subject to, just remember your merger. provided that you can meet the criteria, which these lots do. And, you know, if, for what it's worth, if you zoom out, like, the unmerging of these lots, for lack of a better term, like, it's not gonna be some out-of-character lot for the neighborhood. I mean, all of these are the same size. All of these are have the same record lots. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Now, this is just an appeal, but I know there's some people, it looks like some people in the audience that want to speak to this, so
Leave it to the chair's discretion.
Why don't, are you ready? So
Yes.
You can just
So I can-
identify yourself and the
Yeah.
like.
Thank you.
Uh,
I'm the owner of lot L
Hold on.
1-2.
Hold on.
Okay, hold on, yeah.
So both of you need to identify yourself.
I'm Beverly
Hold on,
Banfield,
hold on.
Beverly Banfield, B-A-N Field. I live at 7 Major Arnold Road, L-1-2.
I have to swear you in first. Hold on.
Okay,
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so
I
help you
do.
God? Okay. Are you an attorney, ma'am?
I am.
Okay.
Go ahead, why don't you identify yourself so we have you on the record.
My name is Diana Pearson. I'm an attorney, bar number 3061, with an office at 1050 Main Street, East Greenwich. I represent Beverly Banfield, trustee as owner of lot 1-2, 7 Arnold, Major Arnold, excuse me. I wanted to
Go ahead, you
clarify.
can just go ahead.
Okay. First of all, not really relevant, but to clarify for the record, these numbers are incorrect. These lots on the top, and I apologize for the record,
You want to point to their?
L-12,
Do you want a laser pointer?
the one on, going down Major Arnold, this lot that we're talking about of 7,000 square feet is not 250, it's L14. This 16 Pocono is L250. Anyway, as can be seen by the aerial though, is not only visually Ms. Banfield's property at lot L-2 is substantially larger. She voluntarily merged it. It is one tax bill. The two lots at issue here are also a single tax bill for 11,500 square feet. I would also, in addition to arguments and comments council and the building inspector have put out, is if you read it, the statute that's being referred to, the merger of lots shall not be required. The opposite can therefore be true. It may be chosen to be merged. And I would point out and argue that not only historically these lots, substandard lots, were merged, but they were voluntarily in certain circumstances merged. Ms. Banfield very specifically went to the town and asked to merge her lots, which were 2 and 3. One tax bill voluntarily. I would also argue that the 2010 deed that was not recorded for 5 years, referring to parcels and descriptions, was a voluntary merger at a minimum. And therefore, to undo it is trying to reap the benefits now of selling off a lot, developing it in contradiction of the intention of the mergers that are allowed in everyone's zoning and also the state law. Also, Narragansett specifically goes on with language that refers to, yes, it cites the 50%, but it also says, in the event that adjacent substandard lots of record have structures located thereon, etc., that's what Mr. Pimentel was referring to. It also refers to standards for districts. And the standards in this district set forth in the Narragansett zoning ordinance refers to the nature of the neighborhood. And therefore, I would argue that this board is entitled to take notice that it was a voluntary merger, as well as it was historically a town merger, if you want to call it that, and that the town has set forth the standards that the state law was asking for. If you want to maintain these merged lots and not apply, you know, the 50% law. Also, the owner took the lots, the merged lots, with violations on them. Again, as the chair has pointed out, any title attorney, anyone doing their due diligence would have looked up, noticed there were all sorts of violations on that lot because of the merger that was done by the previous owner, or that she was put on notice. And those violations were recorded. So these lots were not only merged, they had violations because they were merged, and there was all sorts of, we're gonna deed this one out, we're gonna split this up, et cetera, et cetera. And therefore, you're on notice. Knew or should have known that those lots were merged when you took them in common ownership, as well as deeding to self and spouse, confirming that merger. You don't get the benefits of it to now, quote, undo it. And statutes are always prospective. They have to be specifically retroactive in the language, and it's not there. Again, it may be a headache, maybe not written perfectly by the General Assembly, but what you're faced with or what you have before you is a prospective statute. And I would ask that, at a minimum, it's applied that way, not the 50%. And that it was voluntary.
Follow-up question, you mentioned that the previous owner merged them voluntarily. Is there evidence?
I would argue that they were merged voluntarily, the 2010 deed.
But do you have evidence that they were merged by the previous owner?
I would, Ms. Mullaney, I think was her name, that had the violations. Mr. St. Laurent owned one of them. He was given the violations. They're all recorded on these two lots, 250 and L14.
What were the violations?
That they were attempting to transfer already merged lots. That's notice. That's noticed by any subsequent owner that they're merged. Unlike,
Can you explain that to us a little? I'm confused. So Ms. St. Laurent
there
owned
were,
that.
these two lots were owned
By Martha Mullaney.
She knows the history,
Right.
Okay.
Martha sold the house without selling the lot,
this one.
so to the St. Laurents. That was
So the lots were separate, because she was able to sell the
No,
house?
No,
they're
then
not.
she
That's
Wait a
the
minute, hold
violation.
on, hold
Okay,
on.
I'm sorry. That's the violation. Yes, it may seem harsh to a layperson that they don't know contiguous substandard lots have been merged. However, they're then put on notice repeatedly. The owner of 16 Pocono, which is 250, and the owner of 1-4, that those lots had been administratively merged under the ordinance because of common ownership. They get notice, and the notices are recorded that you can't sell off 16 Pocono. It's a violation because they're already merged. You have to go through the subdivision, etc. 4 or 5 of those violations issued. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. She's lived the history. When they then came into common ownership by Mr. Michelli, at least, he took these with constructive notice. Those violations were recorded against those properties. He was put on, I would argue, constructive notice that they were merged long before he took ownership. And that therefore, he's a stop from now saying, I want to cut them off, I want to sell them off, et cetera, as well as the fact that he recorded a deed transferring from his common ownership to adding his spouse onto it as well. He's had notice of it.
Any other questions?
Just a clarification, I thought I heard you say that it was merged the second time by the town, not by the owner?
I would argue two methods, yes. Call it by the town under the zoning because of the common ownership of a substandard lot. But I would also argue that it was confirmed voluntarily, at a minimum, when he deeded the lots to himself again, both lots together, as well as constructive notice that they were merged years ago, decades ago, by searching the title, that there were all these violations. And the violations very specifically refer to, you can't sell that lot off. You own both of them. They've been merged.
So it's actual notice,
Yes.
not constructive, probably actual notice
Constructive.
from a
If
title
you don't
search.
search the title, you take notice that there's violations very specifically dealing with these lots have been merged. You can't think you're gonna transfer them, or you can't transfer them.
Thank you.
Anything else? Wait a minute, sir, I think there was one other person that wanted to speak first. Come on up, sir.
Give you the record right now, my name is Robert.
Raise your right hand, please.
Yep.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I live
Please
at,
state your name and spell your last.
my name is Robert, last name is Ignani, I-G-N-A-G-N-I.
Thank you.
I live at 18 Pocono. I'm a direct border to this property. So, I'm not sure about the, where's this lot? This one? So, is this the lot? So I'm here, on Pocono. So, and I bought in 2017. You brought up the nature of the neighborhood. The nature of the neighborhood here is a disaster. This lot is a walkthrough from Major Arnold and Captain Freebody, which has multiple URI kids and houses on those properties, in those two streets. Lots of them. Drive down there, the cars are all over the place. And Airbnb. So this guy, Airbnb's right here, next door. Dogs walking, garbage all the time, late at night, kids partying, all the time. They come right down into this corner because they want to get out of the streetlights, and guess what? That's me, right there, and I have to deal with it. So the nature of the neighborhood is, it's a real pain to me. It's a bother to me. It's a bother to the neighborhood. I don't understand. I get the whole legality here, and there's different interpretations. I get that. However, what harm does this do to the town? What benefit is the town getting out of this? This cutting this off and getting this either developed or sold or not, doesn't make any difference. It alleviates a lot of the problem in the neighborhood with this. Nobody's talking about that. But I live it, so I know. Number two, why wouldn't the town want this? The development in on these three streets has been very active, if you haven't noticed. There's 2 properties being built right now on Major Arnold, as we speak, and we've had properties on Pocono done. So it's not like things aren't getting developed on smaller lots than this. So what harm does it do to the town to unmerge this? That just use that title, use that term. I don't see it. I don't see why the town just wouldn't do it. Because and there's no other lot like this on any of those streets in those 4 streets. Show me one that even looks like this. If you looked at the map that I got in the mail, and everybody else, this is the craziest looking thing. I don't know how it happened. I'm not here to talk about how it happened or why it happened. All I know is it doesn't make sense. So if you have the ability to unmerge it, then just do it. It's not hard. And then you get an extra lot, and the tax assessor's going to like it because that's going to pull up the taxes in this town. So I don't see where the harm is in any of this. So again, but the harm to me is, and you people listen all the time to people coming up and making complaints. This is a real major problem here. And it's just going to continue all the time. Because it's just wide open. And people just walk through all the time, back and forth. And the kids party at night. And that's a problem. So I just want to go on record as saying that. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else that would like to join the council? There's some more people that want to speak to this. Come on up, sir. Just be sworn in first and then identify yourself.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Please state your name and spell your last.
Sure, Brian Walensky, Willinsky.
Thank you.
So I own this one next door. I do Airbnb it. I actually don't Airbnb it. I rent it privately to families. I'm anything but an absentee owner, if you ask any of the neighbors that are here. It was notorious for college partying for years before I bought it. And then I decided only to do summer rentals, weekly, not weekend. And I have a long-term renter in there, it's like a short-term renter, like an 8-month lease in there now. We've had no problems. So I pay taxes. I don't get to vote, but I pay taxes, which I think is horrific. We went through the whole thing with the whole town council about short-term rentals and all that. I was happy to see that a new town council got elected. It's just as much my town as it is anyone else that lives on the road. I don't notice when I'm here in June and July for 1 week and August for part of the week. I don't notice people coming through. I do know there's a lot of students on Captain Freebody. As you can see, I mean, I don't know the plans for all this if she does unmerge. It's not going to affect my water view if a structure goes there, so I don't really have skin in the game as far as that goes. I guess the reason I'm up here is just because I got the notice in the mail, and maybe it's too speculative and forward-looking. What kind of structure can go there? How many stories? I've heard rumblings about not being able to hook into a sewer line. Do they have to maybe do a raised septic? This is all speculation, so these questions may be very dumbfounded, but they are questions. And I guess hooking into a sewer line, building another structure, hooking into a sewer line. As they said, there's 3 structures now. A realtor who lives on that road demolished her 1-story and built a 2-3-story. I'm fortunate to have a pretty high house, so my views aren't obstructed, but there is a lot of development going on there, as I said. Oh, the other question is proximity. So if she does build, is it symmetrical or is it closer to the road? These are all things I've heard. Deb, who owns both of these. She owns both of these. We've had some things in the past where my renters have, the dogs wander over onto the side, the children do. She's put up no trespassing. I asked them to please adhere to it. We've had no problems the past couple summers. And I think that's it. I guess those were just questions that I have if this were to get unmerged and assuming maybe a structure does get built, but that may be looking way too far ahead.
So, sir, all due respect to you, and I appreciate all your comments, as I'm sure all the members of the board do, but that is for another day. If this does get unmerged, we'll deal with what can or cannot built there. Or
yeah, I mean, given what's going on with the sewer and that it's a nauseating smell that's happening, I don't love hooking more stuff into the sewer because I think we have a big enough problem. But again, those were just questions. Thank you.
Is there anybody else that wants to speak for or against this before council comes back up?
My client would like to speak.
Sir, can you identify yourself and you'll be sworn in by the stenographer? Thank you.
Louis Michelli.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state and spell your last name.
Louis Michelli, M-I-C-H-E-L-I.
Thank you.
Okay, you guys were asking some questions about how it got merged. What happened was, Martha Mulaney owned both 60 Pocono Road and Lot L1-4. her husband passed away and she moved to Arizona with her niece. And while she was gone, the zoning changed from whatever it was to R10. When it changed to R10, the two lots were merged by the town. Because the zoning changed and the two contiguous lots merged when they're undersized. She ended up selling the house to the St. Lawrence. As soon as she sold the house, she performed an illegal subdivision. That's what generated the violations. It's the only violation that you're gonna see, not violation, 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 violation. The violation was that she did an illegal subdivision. They never found out about the illegal subdivision until the St. Lawrence went to sell the house. So they owned it for about 4 years and didn't even know. When they went to sell the house, he came to me one day and said, I can't sell the house. I said, why not? He said, it's a cloudy title. The reason it had a cloudy title is because of zoning violations. So, no one's gonna finance the house, no one's gonna buy it. Jim Durkin bought it. When he purchased the house, after that, I purchased the lot from Mrs. Maloney. And I know I purchased it with a cloudy title. I could have always cleared the title with my property, because I own this one as well. And just let it go, and owned it for at least 10 years, at least, maybe even more. So, maintained it, cut the grass, 10 years. Now this new merger relief, it's not unmerger, it's merger relief is basically what it is. And that's what the town of Narragansett calls it on their application sheet as well. So, now that merger relief bill came in, I said, let me try to take advantage of it. And that's why I'm here. Now, that's a buildable lot. So whether anybody thinks that it's not buildable, it's buildable. The whole lot is buildable. And we'll ask the building official, if I maintain side yard setbacks, front yard setback, backyard setback, I have sewers in this house right here, I can put a structure up from here, and go right down in there, go 30 feet high. Am I correct?
Well, we're not getting to that point here, we're just
I'm
talking
just
about
saying
merger.
that
I understand,
people
we're
are saying
talking
they're-
about the
they're
merger
worried
issue.
about-
Yeah,
It's a
just wait a
buildable
minute,
lot.
everyone just direct their questions towards the chairman and we'll try to address it. So I
So
think what you're asking, and it's not necessarily relevant right now, but
what I want people to understand is that I could build there, and I could build a structure and go 30 feet high, I think is the new regulation. 10 feet side yard setback on each side, and go. I could make a cut through, which is a very bad thing to do. And this, you know, I'm just looking for some relief.
but what's happened, sir, is right now the town considers that to be a merged lot, therefore it's one lot.
I understand, that's why it's got a
So-
250 and not a 1.4.
Right, so that's what we're dealing with, is whether or not the statute allows for the unmerger of this lot.
I'm under the understanding that quite a few lots have been unmerged by the town. So I'm just trying to understand why this doesn't qualify.
We are too, we're struggling with this statute, so we're trying to figure that out.
All right, does anybody have any questions that you want to ask me?
Any questions from the board members?
So the town is the one that merged the property. The letters came in that she performed an illegal subdivision, and that's why it got merged. And I know I voted on merge, and I had it for 10, 15 years.
Just one question. Do you own both houses and the lot?
251, 250, and the lot.
So all
Yes,
three?
Correct.
Okay.
Is that it?
Or all two?
All two?
All two, yes. It used to be three. Thank you.
Yes, Nick, we have a question for you. Sure.
So, so the town, right or wrong, does this unmerger thing?
There's an ordinance in town related to mergers, yes, and there has been for a very long
So,
time.
and the town uses it sometimes to unmerge lots that they've merged,
Yes.
or that have been merged for whatever
If lots
reason.
meet the criteria, they are considered merged by
Okay.
the town.
But the town's position is that this lot does not meet the criteria.
No.
That's what Wayne's position was.
No, I think,
No, I
I think the position is these lots are merged, and the state law does not allow for it to be unmerged. That's your building official's interpretation.
Right.
But on his zoning certificate, isn't he stating that if it's confirmed the owner didn't merge them, and it still meets the 50% rule,
That is,
that's what he needs to be able to allow it to be unmerged?
Yeah, I'd be guessing as to what his,
I mean, that's what he wrote.
Yeah.
It's on Exhibit A.
that he will then grant it, I don't know, I'd be guessing.
I mean, we're really dealing with something here that, the Rhode Island Supreme Court should decide what this statute means, because it could be interpreted to mean that substandard lots don't necessarily get merged if you can you can demonstrate what it says in the statute. But that's going forward, not backwards.
yeah, the town, in its decision, Wayne's decision seems to pull in that statute, even though,
Well, yeah, and he's saying the
Right.
lots are merged and therefore the statute is not applicable, I think is what Wayne's saying.
no, he's
No,
not.
I think he's saying that if you gave me a Class 1 survey and you proved that the town did it, not the owner, then it's all good.
Right,
That's
and
the way
That's the way I read
That's the way
this
I read it.
Exhibit A.
exactly.
But now you have a new building official saying, put that aside, here's my interpretation that under no circumstances do you get this relief, because the relief is not allowed by law.
Right.
Fortunately,
So-
this board is standing in the shoes of a building official, so we don't afford anybody deference. You folks are deciding. So
Seems-
one building official, two building officials, five building officials, it's irrelevant. You folks are deciding.
I think I agree with you that we seem to have this narrow issue about whether it's retroactive or prospective. And I don't know what Rhode Island law is on that. Council has represented that unless it specifically says it's retroactive, it will be prospective. I know that's the rule in Massachusetts where I practice.
I think that's definitely the
That's
rule of Rhode Island.
That's, all right, thank you very much. I didn't know whether Rhode Island had their own little quirk
Oh,
here.
but
You
I-
do in other things.
Since we don't have Wayne here, do we have to go verbatim off of his decision, or do we go off the information that was
You
submitted?
go off the information that's been presented this evening, and you're making your own decision.
Okay.
So the question is, do we either affirm what Wayne has stated, which would,
Well, I think it's a question of, it appears that this is how Wayne was conducting business, right or wrong. How many lots have been unmerged because of meeting the criteria that it wasn't the owner, it was the town, and here's my Class 1 survey to prove the 50%.
Right, so certain people that have had their lots unmerged based on this
Right.
criteria have been treated a certain way. Now, we're not going to be,
We're gonna
because we have a
be
different building
inconsistent and
official
treated
and a
differently.
building, we're going to be treating somebody differently.
That's the part that bothers me.
Yeah.
Well-
If it's already been done one way,
but we don't know if it's ever been done
We don't know if it's ever
in the
been
town. There's a statute, but I mean,
The
how often is it?
merger?
How many unmergers has the town ever
Did he
done?
I only know
testified that
because
they
I
do?
get emails saying that
Mhm.
this lot has been unmerged from the building official department. That's the only reason I know it. It has to happen administratively.
Based
I don't
on,
know.
based on what
Administrative.
though?
Hold on, one at a time.
Yeah, but based on what, James, so that we can just get some perspective of what,
The town has a form that a property owner can fill out, which I think Mr. McKelly did. And I think the application's in the file. And then the building official goes through the criteria and then approves it, or in this case denies it. And then it's just done, and the building official sends out a notice to me and whoever else, just for information purposes. That's how I know it has happened.
so, all right, but I guess my next question is, so we're dealing with the town ordinance, but was the building official also applying this state statute with this new language in it when he was?
Yes, I believe so.
So he was applying it So these lots could have been merged, obviously were merged probably before the statute was enacted, right? But he was applying it retroactively?
That was, I
Those
guess,
laws?
his interpretation.
For denying the unmerged.
Just on that, sorry, Jim, my concern is without that evidence before the board, I'm concerned about you considering it, because we don't know the facts and circumstances of
Right,
that.
exactly, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And James he's offering the information that he has to help the board. It's anecdotal, and we don't know all the facts, so I just caution you from going down that rabbit hole without knowing all the facts that may or may not existed with these applications, that may or may not have been applied for, it may or may not have been granted, so just caution there.
I think it speaks volumes that it's not specific in the law. So whether it's been done or not, how do we make a decision to say it's prospective, meaning going back in time, when it's clearly, to me, it's written that it's forward, you're not gonna merge them anymore. It's not an unmerger, it's a merge, it's, so,
And
and we don't have proof of what was done. Like, they could have been lots that were large enough to, that made sense. But without having that information, I totally agree that you should be going off of what we heard tonight. I feel comfortable.
I agree on that, and even if you assume it's happened on the wrong criteria, if he is wrong, if his decisions were wrong as a matter of law, are we going to continue that? You can't rely on that. We have to make the decision based on what's here and what's now.
Are we actually saying that the town building official or the town does not have the ability, the power, either the power by ordinance or power by state law to unmerge lots once they've been merged?
I think that's the question that we're dealing with.
Okay, right, okay. So if
Actually,
we,
just procedurally, do we want to close the public hearing on this?
Yeah, well, I think the council wants to
sure,
speak one more
sure.
time, but
Really, I don't want to belabor anything. There's no argument from us that these lots have been merged by the town through zoning. This is in the land evidence records. It says your lots are merged because of zoning. No argument here. It sounds like the town has had a practice since the new law went into effect and promulgated these specific regulations for doing an unmerger or seeking relief from merger provisions. When I spoke with Mr. Pimentel about this, I said, hey, this no longer complies with state law. The requirements have changed. The state law explicitly says, as confirmed by a compilation plan, as that term is defined by the rules and regulations of professional surveying. Thank you.
and then we,
Mr. Chair, may I make another comment?
sure.
I would argue that I'm gonna call it more conservative approach of applying, as the board has the right to take everything in and make the decision of prospective application, because to do otherwise, you are stamping approval on a quote unmerger practice that may or may not have been lawful. And although it may not feel fair, the fact that it was done in the past doesn't make it proper, legal, or right to continue to do that practice, quote, unmerging lots. Especially when, I would offer, as the chair commented, that maybe a higher authority of the Supreme Court may be the ones to interpret the state law, the application of Narragansett's also ordinance, and how that would go forward. To grant the, quote, unmerger, and I'm going to say it's unlawful, is to keep that practice perpetuated. And no relief for someone else to say, I think the board got it wrong, we need to appeal this up. So on a practical basis, I would argue that if the board upholds the denial of the zoning permit, or whatever, building permit, whatever, that was applied for, on whatever grounds you find, it's prospective application. Again, I'd also offer, shall not be required to be merged, can also be interpreted as maybe merged voluntarily, perpetuated, knowing you took the property under violations, you kept deeding it to yourself, et cetera, et cetera. There's actually differences in taxes when the lots were merged, that to deny that relief that's sought and let them take it up, as opposed to the board perpetuating a real mess of unmergers. Well, we don't really have that, but it's a rule, it's a past practice, it's
Thank you.
an easy way out, I'm saying.
I got a question for, I think for Nick. The email from Wayne on March 17th said, Nick, in review, and I'm not sure what exhibit it is, oh, exhibit D. In review of RIGL 45-2438, the only requirement for a lot unmerger is a 200-foot radius compilation plan, like it's been noted rather. Per state law, no other requirements are required, Wayne. And I think on the back of that, an email from you appears to agree with that.
No, it's not an email from me. I'm
Oh.
CC'd on that email. That's from
Oh,
the
I'm
applicant.
sorry. So, Andrew was the one,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, that is for me.
You
So
got
I-
me, you got me nervous, David.
No, so I guess my question then still revolves around this email from Nick is.
From Wayne.
From Wayne rather, is that in fact legal or correct? That the only number one, does Rhode Island law allow you to unmerge or not?
Okay, that's the question tonight. That's the,
I don't know how we can make a decision.
I know, I almost like think in this circumstance whether we should, and this would be, I think, out of the norm when us just hearing a violation appeal, but to get, as much as I don't want you guys to have to do more work, but to get like some memorandum on this before we make a decision, because it's really the interpretation of state statute along with the Narragansett ordinance and what it means. So I think it's making it very difficult for the board here to decide whether to uphold what Wayne did or not.
yeah, on the town side, I think for going forward, if you have some memorandums and then you talk about your decision in the next meeting, you should probably have like a written decision of some sort from Nick or whoever. That way it's recorded, and then I assume this matter is not going to die here. So that'd be better for the record going forward.
Yeah.
If I could suggest, Council and I, or Council and James, whoever's going to do it, would need some time to flesh out the arguments. Maybe you give us a date on or before your next date, June 17th, we submit the memos. And then come July, you'll have a month to review. So a month to write them, then you folks have a month to review them. We'll be back here for discussion amongst the board in July. As far as keeping the public hearing open or closed, I don't know if we have a preference.
I think we should.
Should we keep it open only because of the discussion about whatever is decided amongst the 3 years?
Well, that's fine with me. You could still have a discussion. Notice issues, so we don't have to close anything. I don't think we have to close anything. There's input from council on.
I also think it would be fair to give Attorney Pearson an opportunity to
Sure.
submit a memo as
Sure.
well, if you'd like to, so that it can be considered with everybody else. Yeah, you as well, but I think he was speaking for
I was
you.
speaking for you, Amber, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is purely a hypothetical, so don't, you don't have, maybe you don't even have to answer it. But the two lots there, I mean, they're now a conforming lot. I mean, the lot there is conforming, and it's 10,000, is that right?
Yeah, a little
A
over 11.
little over 11. So that empty space, I mean, the owner or somebody could develop something on that space. They could develop a separate ADU, for instance, that, right, that,
Yeah, provided it's within the regulations.
okay. And then taking that even further, they could then condominiumize it. So what we're doing is not preventing, they couldn't condominiumize, they do that.
Condominiumize
I mean, that's one lot.
An ADU, okay, but what if it's not an ADU? What if it's a separate building? Like, what if they don't call it an ADU? Can they
Well, I
put
think that's
another
what
freestanding?
Mr. Kaylee was saying.
I
that
can't
you
hear everybody speaking at once.
Everyone,
There's
one
no
at a time,
record.
one at a time.
Okay,
Go ahead,
so
John,
so a separate freestanding home could not be built there? Okay, okay, okay.
John, did you have a question?
No, I think what the appellant had been saying is that he could build a very long, narrow structure the whole length
Right.
of that, as long as it met the setbacks. So
Right,
he could,
right.
in that sense, yeah.
You just couldn't divide
You
it.
just
sell
couldn't
them
divide it,
separate.
Sell
regulate
it
one
separate,
very long.
right.
One at a time. All right, does that make sense then, so that we'll keep the hearing open?
Memos to be submitted to the board on or before 6/17 by anybody who is inclined to submit a memo.
Yep.
And we'll be back here for further proceedings on your July date, which is 23rd?
I have to double check it.
7/23 pending Heidi telling us we're wrong.
Well, all right,
Motion to
just make,
continue.
we'll make sure we get a good date.
Yeah,
Heidi.
July, right.
July.
All right, so is there a motion to keep the hearing open, continue this matter until July 23rd?
Move, so moved.
Wait a minute, with motion, with memorandums to be filed by all interested parties by
June 17th.
June 17th.
Would that be, do they have to meet the cutoff so it's given to us at the meeting? Because the cutoff for the 17th meeting is well before that, so, or do they just give it to Heidi on the 17th and then it gets distributed to us that
We'll
night?
use the 17th as a submittal date, and Heidi, I trust, will just
So that's
email
in
it.
June though,
Yes.
and then
Yeah,
the
yeah.
hearing, we won't
Then we have a
reconvene
month.
Give you
So
time.
it doesn't have to go in the packet
Right,
for the
right.
June, okay, got it.
Just give you time to digest it.
All right,
before
there,
July.
can someone make a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Is there a
What you
second?
said, what you
Second.
said.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so Heidi, you want me to clarify what
No,
that
I got it.
motion?
Thank
Okay, good. All right, that makes sense to everybody?
Yes, thank you.
Chairman, you missed A.
Yeah, we're not done.
Yeah, no, we're not done yet. Wait a minute.
I wasn't aware
Wait a minute, I didn't mean to miss that.
I'll be around.
Are there some administrative?
Yes, she wants to confirm that it's gonna be forum.
Oh. We're all done with the hearings and stuff, right?
You,
We're not
we'll
here.
have to mention D1, just as a
Yeah.
procedural, but.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, why don't we, well, we're, yeah, so Cherry is being withdrawn, is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that is correct. The applicants, D1 Cherry Plat S Lot 32, have submitted a request for withdrawal. That application no longer needs zoning relief from the board. They were able to utilize the 15% modification application, and that application now sits with Jay Humes in the building official's office.
Okay, great. All right, so the last matter for tonight is A, administrative matters, and as a zoning board meeting for Wednesday, June 17th, 2026, and Heidi just wants to make sure we're all going to be able to attend.
Yes.
I will be present. I'm here.
I will be,
Everyone.
thank God, I almost wouldn't have been,
You will not.
because I had to be away for a few days for depositions in Florida. But they're on the 18th, 19th, so it's moved to Wednesday.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Good.
Heidi, I'm unable to attend, I will not be here on the 17th. I will not be here on the 17th.
Okay.
And I will not be here as well,
Yeah.
that's my
I am
month.
not.
Okay, hold on a minute. Now we're getting close.
June 17th.
I will be here.
All right, so I have Leslie, Christine, and
You didn't enjoy it?
Keith not here at the June meeting.
I will be here.
Keith will be.
I can be here. I said I couldn't be here if it was on the 18th.
Who said, oh, Ellen said you couldn't, I'm sorry. So we have John, Keith, Karen, and David.
Yes.
Okay, we have a quorum, that will be four. If we do not have, if any four of you,
Anything that's on June 17th, do we have to worry about a quorum from a prior, that was continued prior, or?
Ooh.
No, not this one.
let me double check the draft agenda real quick.
Gibson Court and.
Gibson Court.
Nero.
And Nero.
That's a problem for
That's a
you, right?
problem, because you have to sit out of
Gibson,
that.
you have to sit out.
I have to sit out in Gibson, I'm in the butter.
Right. So
It didn't go very
that,
well.
we're gonna have we have a quorum issue then for Gibson.
Possibly Nero.
Impossibly Nero.
I have to
We
check
have to-
Near-
we have to-
Nero.
I think that's the,
That's a 80 Onondaga, it was,
the over the garage.
Over the garage.
yeah, it's a, they revitalized their project, so, they're coming back with, different relief.
Differently.
But none
So
of
it'd be
us-
brand new-
There hasn't been
brand
any
new
hearing that started on that, right?
No, there was full testimony given.
Yeah.
Was I here for that?
But will it be a brand new presentation?
Yes, I also just want to remind us that we need to speak one individually, otherwise Alicia will not be able to keep a record for us.
Still in session.
Yes, we're still in session. But yes, the application was opened there, and there was, I believe, testimony by the applicant's attorney, the homeowner, and the applicant's architect.
They were part of the demolition.
I mean, we can figure that quorum issue out after.
Yeah.
We don't need to figure this out at the meeting. We can, that could be a back end, the back of the house thing, and we can let the applicant know if there's gonna be a problem.
I have a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn. Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
So now they want to.